Hi, my name's Rick, and I hate streaming. So come with me as I discover and rediscover vinyl. This week, we review Tres Hombres by ZZ Topp. Hi, today we're going to review this album, Tres Hombres by ZZ Topp. And this album is one of my favorite albums of all time by one of my bands. No, the favorite band of mine of all time. And this album contains probably the most delicious looking gatefold you'll ever see. I tell you, I look at that and I get hungry. This is the third album by ZZ Topp, and the one to actually give them their commercial breakthrough. The album went into the top 10 in the United States, and the single, La Grange, reached number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100. I was first exposed to ZZ Topp while partying at some guy's house. He put on Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers. And because we were dumb jocks, we listened to it like 3-4 times in a row. And then we discovered another song on this album called La Grange. Now, those were the only two songs we ever heard on this album, at his house anyhow. So one day I picked up the album and man, I was impressed. Not only were Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers and La Grange some hard rockin' songs, but there's also a lot of really good guitar work and blues work, which I had never really been exposed much to. The first time I was ever exposed to the blues, I was a little kid, and my mom and dad took me to a taping of the Merv Griffin Show, and it was a special taping at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. So we went to the show and we saw the comedians and there was the whole talk thing. And then this old black guy comes out, and it was B.B. King. And he sat on a stool with his guitar, Lucille, and he rocked it. My parents hated it. I was in amazement. I had never seen anybody play guitar like that. And I was just amazed. And I had grown up in white bread, Sunnyvale, California. And there was no diversity at all when I was a kid in elementary school. And so for me to see this old black guy playing the guitar like that, I was blown away. Anyhow, I just kind of filed that in the back of my head, and I was a rock and roll kid. Now, when I heard this ZZ Top album, the blues part on this just blew me away. I was really impressed. And this album, Tres Hombres, is one of my favorite of all time. And ZZ Top has become my favorite band of all time. I've actually seen ZZ Top twice in the last 2 years. Once right after Dusty Hill passed away, and then again just a couple weeks ago, December of 2022, while they're promoting the Viva Las Vegas tour. It was fun. The personnel on this album is the same as every other ZZ Top album. It's Frank Beard on drums. He's the guy without a beard. Dusty Hill, who recently passed away, on bass guitar and vocals. And of course, on lead guitar, we've got Billy Gibbons. The first song on the album is Waiting for the Bus, and the second song is Jesus Just Left Chicago. For years, these two have been considered one song and played as such on the radio. It's actually two distinct songs with just very little space between songs. The first song, Waiting for the Bus, was written by Dusty Hill and Billy Gibbons, while Jesus Just Left Chicago was actually also co-written by Frank Beard. So the story goes, whether or not it's true or not, is that the engineer, while mixing the record, accidentally spliced out too much tape. And so when he realized it and went back, they kind of flowed together and he said, let's let it go. Those have actually become a single song on classic rock radio play. You always hear the two together. You never hear them separated. The third song on the album is Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers. And this was actually, like I said before, the song that got me into ZZ Top. It's a hard-driving rock and roll song. Makes you just want to stomp around. The next song on the album is called Master of Sparks. And this is an interesting story that goes with this song. So this is actually a true story about Billy Gibbons and one of his buddies. And they took a bunch of steel and they welded up this giant steel ball, and they stuck a seat inside it, and they went ahead and put in seat belts, and they loaded it in the back of the pickup truck. One of their buddies got them up to speed, and then they pushed the ball out of the truck. The ball skidded and bounced and went crazy down the highway. And then it got kind of smushed and it just skidded and sparks were flying everywhere out the back, and they smashed into a cyclone fence. And everybody who was watching declared them the master of sparks. Whether or not it's a true story, I don't know, makes a good story. Side one finishes up with Hot, Blue, and Righteous, which has got to be one of the most soulful blues songs I think ever. Actually, I love the song. It's not super loud, it's not super wild, but listening to it, it's just very soulful. Side two starts with Move Me On Down the Line, followed by Precious and Grace, which is followed by that song with that thing. And this is how Billy Gibbons referred to the song LaGrange when I saw him live. And he calls the song with that thing, you know, that thing, the ah. So that's how Billy Gibbons refers to it. The song LaGrange actually has a lot of story behind it. The song refers to a house of ill repute called the Chicken Ranch, and it's a brothel out in the middle of the desert. The main riff of the song is based upon an old blues song by John Lee Hooker called Boogie Chillin'. And the copyright holder for Boogie Chilling actually went ahead and filed a lawsuit against ZZ Topp. The court ruled that that blues riff was actually in the public domain and tossed the lawsuit out. The line in the song, how, is actually a quote from John Lee Hooker's song, Boom, Boom, Boom. After the song LaGrange, the next song on the album is called Chic, and the album finishes up with a song called Have You Heard? Remember how I said Hot, Blue, and Righteous was very soulful? So is this song. Anyhow, this completes the album. What do I think of this album? 2 thumbs up. ZZ Topp, in my opinion, is the best rock and roll band in all of history. They've got that driving blues bass, and they got the searing guitar. I think they're the best band ever. Anyhow, that's my opinion. If you have a different opinion, feel free to leave a message in the comments section. Go ahead and please give me a thumbs up on the likes. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, leave any comments or questions. I'm retired. I'll get back to you. I've got nothing else to do. So have a great day.